This video is brought to you by StoneAgeGamer.com, a fantastic site for retro games, systems, accessories, and more. Be sure to check out StoneAgeGamer.com. Skip it up and that up! So a YouTube user under my Player Essence video had a kick-ass request question, whatever you want to call it. SummerHaze54, that was the YouTube user, asked me this question. Would you make a video about defining a video game journalist, and would you consider yourself one? That would be a cool topic. Good luck, man. Hope you're doing well. So, to answer your question, do I consider myself a journalist? The short answer is no. I consider myself a commentator. I talk about things going on in the industry, give my take on them, and that's what I enjoy doing. People enjoy me talking about it. I enjoy talking about what's going on in the gaming industry, and that's it. That's not a journalist. To me, the short answer of what a journalist is someone who has inside connections, does their own research, finds out their own information, and relays it to the public. So if they want to know what's going on with Naughty Dog and the new writer and director, they go to Naughty Dog themselves, whether they call them, go to their office, find out the information, and they write an article. That, to me, is a journalist. Now, do I also consider reviewers journalists? I guess that's a gray area, but yeah, you know, if there's a guy who reviews a car for Car and Driver, he would be considered a journalist, or someone who works for Rolling Stone and reviews a product in Rolling Stone, they would be considered a journalist too. And I used to want to go down that avenue of doing reviews and only doing reviews, and I'll explain to you why I don't want anything to do with being a journalist or even a full-time reviewer. And it's a story pretty much of how I started doing this, and there's some things you may have heard about this before because I've talked about it, and some other stuff that you haven't. And it kind of goes into what I think a journalist is and why I want nothing to do with it anymore. So here we go. Honestly, I started this in 2008 for the fuck of it, the fun of it. I think the first game I ever reviewed was Street Fighter II Championship Edition for the Xbox Live Arcade, and it was a terrible review. I would say my first non-cringe-worthy review was my original Left 4 Dead review back in late 2008. We're going back almost 6 years. Holy shit, time flies. And I started, you know, people liked my reviews, and I started to talk to different websites. And I was having a blast, and like, hey man, we like your review style, you should put up some videos for us. And I did, you know, and it was still going smooth sailing, going well. But that's when I found out the first downfall to doing reviews is that there's so much politics involved with it. It's insane. And what do I mean? So say I'm putting up a review of one of the perfect examples I could think of is, say I'm putting up a review of, I should say, of the God of War 3 demo. Just got released, and I wanted to give my impressions of it. It was pretty damn hyped game, and I wanted to say what I thought of the demo. Go to upload it, and it's blocked in a lot of countries because IGN says they have rights to the footage. And there you go. That's the first fatal flaw to the whole corporate journalism game, is that everyone wants the most traffic from their reviews. So what they'll do, and this is what IGN did and other companies did it too. I'll tell you another example. It's actually before this happened in a second. They'll put a false claim up, okay? And what'll happen is, yeah, you could counter it, and eventually they'll release the claim, but they'll release the claim when the God of War 3 demo was irrelevant. So they got all the views, they steered all the views to their website, okay, or to their YouTube channel. And, you know, once no one gives a shit about the God of War 3 demo anymore in about a week or 5 days, yeah, they'll lift the claim up and your video won't be blocked anymore. Keep in mind, this wasn't a money thing because I wasn't getting paid back then to do this. And then by the time they release the claim on your video, no one's watching it. So that was the first part of this game, the corporate game of doing journalism and doing reviews that really pissed me off. I also wanted to do a first impressions of the Resident Evil 5 demo back in 2009. Again, it wasn't a money thing. And CBS said they own the rights to the gameplay footage. Yes, CBS, not Capcom, CBS. And again, it was blocked virtually everywhere. So That really, 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 really turned me off, and it was very frustrating because it wasn't about, you know, oh hey, you know, I got a copy of the game first and I finished it, I put it up at the same time as other companies. It wasn't fair competition. You were stifled simply because you were an independent reviewer, and the big corporate guys always had a leg up on you, and they kept it that way, and they were at an unfair advantage for unethical reasons. So what anyone would do naturally at that point is I started doing reviews for websites, okay? And the nice thing about it is the websites would hook me up with the games. So I would get sent a review copy, and in turn I would do a review. So this was the straw that broke the camel's back. This happened in 2010. I'm still cool with people from the company. I'm not going to name the company or the game because then you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But I was given a review copy of a game that just came out in 2010. And it was a huge game, and I spent like 5 days from sun up to sundown playing this game, writing up the review, recording the audio, editing the review, nonstop, and I wasn't getting paid a dime. I just got the review copy of the game. So I thought the game was good. I didn't think it was perfect by any means. I thought it had a bunch of flaws, and I gave it a 3 out of 5. I said it's a good game, but it has a lot of untapped potential, and it's not polished. Okay. Well, it turns out, here I'm thinking, all right, great, you know, I have this review up in time. The game was only out for a couple days. I'm all psyched about this, like, yeah, I'm getting a review up, and I can finally compete with the other people, you know, and I would even, like I said, it wasn't getting paid, had nothing to do with that. And I go to submit the review to the website, and the guy who owns the website's like, yeah, I can't post this. And I was like, why? He's like, well, because your review, you know, you weren't thrilled with it, and that company right now is endorsing our website. We have some kind of marketing deal with them for the next week, and I can't post this review while the same developer and publisher has advertising on our website. I was speechless. I'm sitting there like, I'm like, wait a second, it was still a decent review. So you're saying that because this developer and publisher is advertising on your webpage, and because I didn't gush over their game and, oh my god, 5 out of 5 stars, let me just smack a metaphorical schlong all over my face of this game because I love it so much, because I didn't like just say nothing but positive things and make it like it was the best game ever, that you're going to make this review sit on the sidelines and not post it on your webpage and just make it become irrelevant like every other review I've done because other companies made sure the review was stifled? So here I am, now I have the green light to do the review, but because the company was lining that website's pockets, I couldn't put up an honest review. So the review still had to wait, and I still wasted my time working for days on end on that review. At that point, I was almost done. I really was. Now, some other stuff happened in between, but after that, the biggest thing I did is I did a lot of work for ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com. But again, I wanted to go into a different direction, and I was one reviewer out of a million on their website, and I'm not knocking ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com. I still am very cool with all the people that work there. There were, like Nas said in one of his songs a long time ago, they were a nice pair of shoes, I just couldn't sport them. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't my style, and I wanted to find my niche. So I remember it was in like early 2011, and I think it was when Modern Warfare 3 was coming out. And there was all this BS hype and news about it, and it was really pissing me off. And I made videos venting about that, and people really enjoyed them. And I really enjoyed it venting about Modern Warfare 3. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot more fun. It's a lot less stressful, and people really enjoy listening to me. And I really enjoy talking shit about these companies when they do dumbass crap. And that's when it just clicked. And from there on out, most of what I did was talk about current events in the industry. You know, and am I a journalist? No. I'm going to multiple websites and double checking the articles and you know, giving my take on what the news is out there. But honestly, that's the point of what I'm trying to say in this video, is I almost feel like journalism is, not just in gaming, in general, is dying because corporations only want you to say what they want you to say. I mean, I felt like that one review I did for that website, like, so the only way I could get that review up right away, because the company was endorsing you, if I made a glowingly positive review, I mean, it was constructive criticism I was giving. It wasn't like I was like, fuck that game, it sucks. I almost feel like reviewers now, minus a very select few out there, are you're working for the Home Shopping Network. You're only saying what you're told to say. There's no independent thought. There's no objective thinking. So you know what? Technically, like I said in the beginning of this video, a true journalist is someone who finds out their own information and relays the accurate information, the honest information to the public. But not even with just gaming anymore. I really feel like true journalism that isn't in favor of a corporation, company, or cause is a dying concept. So I don't know what a journalist is anymore. I feel like a journalist has become, oh, you just say what your corporate paymaster told you to say. And this is even, whether you're talking about CNN or whether you're talking about, and I'm not knocking them, I'm just using them as an as-if example, GameSpot. It's like, you say what we tell you to, you go out of line, you're gone. Look at Jeff Gertzman with the first Kane and Lynch game. It's a perfect example right there. He wasn't thrilled with the game, gave his honest opinion on it, and GameSpot canned him. So I know a lot of people out there say to me, oh, Rich, you just read articles and that's all you do. But you know what? I have the freedom to say whatever I want to. Whether you feel I just read articles or not, you know, hey, that's your MO. If you like my stuff, great. If you don't have to watch it. But the thing that I love about what I do is, one, I am very passionate about gaming and technology. And two, I could say whatever I want to. I don't have to check in with some boss that works at some corporate journalism place to make sure that we're appeasing the paymasters and I'm not saying anything negative about our sponsors. Because honestly, right now, to me, journalism is a joke. Not true journalism, but the corporate BS in gaming, in political news, everywhere, everyone's trying to sell you something. They're either trying to sell you an agenda or a product made by a corporation. So I don't know what's happening to journalism, but it's kind of scary. But I love where I stand with this because I could say whatever I want to, and I don't have to answer to anybody. All right, folks, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And if you have an interesting news story you would like me to discuss, private message me with a link via YouTube. And if I use your news article, I will give you a shout out in the video and feature your YouTube channel in the description. Have a good one.